It's pretty rare on this channel to do a brand new COD history topic. Well, that's what we have today. The heads-up display, or the HUD, is an important part of the COD multiplayer. As long as you're not playing hardcore, that is. The HUD is going to be in your field of view for 100% of the time you're playing the game. And because of that, it needs to be good at giving you all the necessary information without obstructing the battlefield, while also looking appealing and fitting in with the theme of the game. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today, we are skipping over back to the COD ranking series. We're going to be doing something brand new. We're going to rank every single COD multiplayer from worst to best by their heads-up display and nothing else. Every mainline game from COD 4 onwards is eligible for this list, except for Black Ops 6, since that game has a customizable HUD. It wouldn't really be fair to compare it to everything else. So you let me know in the comments which COD game has your favorite HUD, which is the worst. Drop a like. Do me a favor, guys. Let's see if we can crank out 1,000 likes in 24 hours. And yes, I read every single comment on every single video. At number 17, dead last, COD Ghosts. Infinity Ward was trying to shake things up. I understand that, and that meant overhauling the HUD from previous games. Now, Ghost HUD certainly had its own unique personality. It just wasn't very helpful. I think it was pretty undeniably the worst in the franchise when it comes to giving you all the information you need in a clean and effective manner. The kill feed was moved to the top right corner of the screen. Why? I don't know. Your ammo count was given some weird health bar that would decrease as you expelled shots from the magazine. Again, why? I don't know. And while the minimap was made a bit bigger than usual, it was also not made very good. It was difficult to read due to how dim it was on the screen. And the red dots were also toned down to kind of a orange dot, which made it hard to see them right as they popped up. Your streak progress was also moved from the center right-hand side of the screen to the bottom right-hand side, and it was made smaller. That, to me, was annoying to check how close you were to earning things. Now, I know Ghost gets a lot of hate, and some of that hate isn't justified, but the HUD, it wasn't very good. I think it's the worst in the series by far. At number 16, Modern Warfare the Reboot. 3 words. No red dots. Modern Warfare was trying really hard to shake it up and make the game more tactical by removing the red dots of enemy gunfire from the minimap, and instead, they gave you a compass. It would kind of give you enemy red dots if you were looking in the right direction, but all that did was make it feel like the HUD was withholding information from you, and it made the game really frustrating on a moment-to-moment basis. And you may say, Jimmy, it's been 6 years. Let go of the no red dot thing. But in a video where we're just talking about the HUD and the amount of information it gives you, I can't ignore it. The rest of the HUD in the game is good, but the lack of intel you got from the minimap and the annoying flashing dots on the compass, it destroyed it for me. I couldn't put it any higher. At number 15, COD Vanguard. Now, Vanguard's HUD was more or less just copied from Modern Warfare with a couple changes, the main one being the fact that the scoreboard was now a bright blue and red, which made it pop off the screen a little more, made it easier to see at a moment's notice. But aside from that, it was literally just the Modern Warfare HUD with all the same issues, give or take the red dot thing, because that was actually, I think there was a way to get your red dots back on the screen in this game. Now, you may have liked this one more than me, and that's okay. But ultimately, this HUD annoyed me. I mean, Sledgehammer had they have made some of the best HUDs in COD history, you'll see later on in the video, so the fact that they just copy-pasted one of the worst HUDs ever for a game kind of let the air out of my balloon. At number 14, Modern Warfare 2 2022. Now, this was a huge step up from Modern Warfare 2019's minimap in terms of layout and visibility, but still didn't have red dots on the minimap by default. That's a huge issue for me, obviously. You have to understand the red dots on the minimap are a major part of why we even look at the minimap. So if the game is withholding that information from you, there's a major problem for the HUD in terms of its effectiveness. So I'm sorry if I'm being a stickler about it being that big of a problem, but deep down, I'm actually not sorry. I'm not. At number 13, Black Ops 4. Now, Black Ops 4 tried to tone it down from the Black Ops 3 game, but that came with a few problems. Now, all the essentials are there. Small size of the healing icon sometimes made it hard to see exactly where your healing button was ready to be pushed, and you did spend a little too much time staring at it if you were playing the game. But Black Ops 4 also featured the Fog of War system instead of your traditional minimap, which, to me, knocks a few points off because it was inherently giving you less information than it otherwise would have. But the biggest issue with the HUD in BO4, it was the fact that it didn't actually give you an accurate ammo count. Instead, it had a little icon in the bottom right of the screen that showed you how many spare magazines you were carrying. Why? I don't know. What was wrong with just giving you an actual number of how many extra bullets you had? Now, I know people have been coming around to Black Ops 4 in recent years, but I always thought the HUD was pretty bad. At number 12, Infinite Warfare. This HUD reminded me of the Ghost HUD, but it did have some adjustments that made it easier to use, hence it's higher up on the list. It was very transparent and stylized, which sometimes that made it difficult to see specific details at a short notice, but it also made your streak progress a lot more obvious by moving it back to the middle right side of the screen like it was in MW3 and Black Ops 2. It also added little health bars above enemy players' heads when you shot at them, which that wasn't everybody's cup of tea, or it wasn't everybody's favorite quality of life adjustment, but I was actually okay with it. I kind of liked it. The equipment count was really tiny for some reason, which sometimes got annoying, and I wasn't the biggest fan of how slanted all the text was, but it did fit in the theme of the game, so it did its job. I mean, there's plenty of things you could criticize Infinite Warfare for. The HUD, I don't think it was that bad. At number 11, the original Black Ops. This might be sacrilegious for me to say because I absolutely love this game. It's my favorite Call of Duty game of all time, but I'm going to say it. Compared to every other HUD in COD history, I think the BO1 HUD leaves a bit to be desired. I just don't feel like it's giving you that much information compared to other HUDs. It didn't tell you how close you were to your streaks. It didn't have the XP bar at the bottom of the screen like previous games. And the equipment menu was tucked all the way in the corner, unlike COD 4 and World at War where it was in the middle and much easier to spot. Now, keep in mind that we're officially at the point of the video where all of these HUDs were, I guess you could say, good. Some are just better than others. So it's not that the Black Ops 1 had a bad HUD. It's just that the other HUDs gave you more information without sacrificing any visibility or style. And I have to take that into account. I have to be fair, right? So despite my love for the series, here it is at number 11. At number 10, COD 4. This was where COD changed forever. Kind of crazy that despite how much the series has evolved, the HUD in this game still looks great. Heck, you could put this HUD into modern COD gaming, it would fit perfectly for most people. Scoreboard, kind of small, easy to see though. Minimap, also small, but the icons were bright and obvious, so you never missed any of the information it was trying to feed you. And the equipment count, I mean, it was super obvious, impossible not to see. And then you had ammo that had a number and a little visual representation of how many rounds were left in the magazine, which gave it a little extra personality. Now, compared to later HUDs, the COD 4 one was much simpler. It was stripped back, just like the gameplay, but that's okay with me because I never felt like it was missing anything. And yes, you could say the lack of streak progress was a point against it. But since this game used the classic 3-5-7 kill streak system, not a big deal. It's not like you were going to lose track of where you were in your streak, I don't think. And since we're all talking about classic games, at number 9, World at War. I mean, had to be pretty obviously copy-pasted from COD 4 in order for Treyarch to get the game done in time for release, but that didn't mean that doesn't mean they copy-pasted the HUD. They did, but it was kind of in a good way. The HUD was basically the same, but all the icons were changed to fit better with the World War II theme. And I think Treyarch knocked it out of the park here. The HUD in this game is super immersive despite featuring an identical layout to COD 4, and it greatly contributed to the vibes of the game overall. I think World at War has the best vibes of any Call of Duty to this day. Everyone knows that World at War has incredible immersion. That simply wouldn't have been the same without those iconic visuals laid over the COD 4 HUD. At number 8, Black Ops Cold War. Now, the Black Ops series is very consistent with HUDs, aside from Black Ops 4 for some reason. Cold Wars, no different. Everything you needed, right at your fingertips, right in front of you for a quick glance. The map was big and obvious without being obstructive. The red and blue icons on the scoreboard, easy to spot. Ammo count was big and juicy. Streak progress was tucked away but easy to track out of the corner of your eye. And you even had a little health bar for your character in the bottom left corner of the screen if you needed to duck behind cover and wait for it to come back. Some people weren't a fan of the way the kill feed looked in the game because of how tiny and thin the font was, and I can see the criticisms, but ultimately, it was solid. At number 7, we usually don't put this game high on any list. Modern Warfare 3 2023. I'd give this game a ton of grief, but I'm going to admit, the HUD was good. Basically took the HUD of the previous game, refined it more, gave you more information on the screen without obstructing anything, while also making it feel a bit more arcadey and less serious, which to me was good because people generally weren't happy with how slow and over-serious the gameplay of Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer was. And perhaps, most importantly, Sledgehammer put the red dots back on the map. The only real problem with Modern Warfare 3's HUD to me is the fact that once you go through your kill streaks or score streaks, they don't refresh on your HUD even though you're still working towards them. So in basically every COD game with looping streaks, little progress bar on the right side of your screen will restart when you've gone through all 3 of your streaks, and you're starting to work on re-earning them. But Modern Warfare 3, it just takes that part of the screen away after you've earned all 3 streaks, despite the fact that you're still working towards doubling them up, which that didn't make a lot of sense, seemed kind of lazy. I always thought it was an oversight, maybe a bug, but here we are almost 2 years later, and it was never fixed, so maybe it was intentional. At any rate, Modern Warfare 3 had a really good HUD, and a weird issue with looping streaks, that's probably the only problem. At number 6, Modern Warfare 2, the original. This has to be one of the most iconic COD HUDs ever, but I don't think it's quite the best, mainly because it's been improved. That was 2009. It's not to say it was bad. It was a great representation of how to do a multiplayer FPS HUD correctly. XP bar at the bottom of the screen kept you grinding. Minimap, simple, effective. Ammo count, obvious. Nice little animation on the right side of your screen telling you which kill streaks were in your inventory. And sure, there was no streak progress tracker in the game, but it was still a great way to keep all the relevant information on screen at all times. And the faction icons in the bottom left, iconic. Iconic. Now we arrive at the top 5. Advanced Warfare. Wasn't the first futuristic COD, but it was the first COD to really embrace advanced tech and lean into fictional gear, jetpacks, laser rifles, and you know what? I think the HUD did a fantastic job at immersing you in the new world without sacrificing any visibility or functionality. The HUD in Advanced Warfare was a lot more transparent than other HUDs in COD, and I liked it. It was simple, straightforward, gave you all the intel you needed without ever getting in the way. Score streak progress, tracked with little individual progress bars for each reward. Minimap, pretty big on the top left corner, but also slightly transparent so it didn't mess with your vision. And it's also a large rectangle instead of being a square or circle, which meant it gave you more visibility without taking up too much of the screen. Now, some people didn't like it. They thought it was kind of difficult, but whatever. And they also thought it was kind of difficult to see the reserve ammo, but I don't think it was that bad. It didn't bother me. Very futuristic HUD. It did its job effectively. I mean, I don't really have any complaints. And number 4, once again, you hardly ever see these games high up on a good ranking list for me. COD World War II. I was a hater of the game. I admit, though, the HUD was done right. Fantastic. Scoreboard in the bottom left, perfectly in theme with the rest of the game. Minimap on the top right almost looked like you were looking at it from a top down of an actual paper map, which was really cool. Score streak progress on the right side of the screen appealing. Metal pop-ups were great. Challenge progress that popped up throughout the game above your score streaks was a nice way to kind of feel like you were progressing at a good pace. I have one issue, and it was the fact that the teams in the kill feed were red and turquoise, while your kills, white. Just seemed like a bit of a visual clash with everything else, but ultimately that's nitpicking. It's a very small issue that a lot of people probably never even thought about. I had my issues with the game, but as a whole, the HUD was good. It was excellent. Good job, Sledgehammer. And number 3, Modern Warfare 3, the original. Modern Warfare 3 basically took the Modern Warfare 2 HUD, cleaned it up. So you still had the XP progress at the bottom of the screen, super sleek font for all the pop-ups, but you also had actual streak progress on the right side of your screen, so you could keep track of how close you were to earning things, which that was something Modern Warfare 2 didn't do. In fact, Modern Warfare 3 was the first COD game to actually show you how close you were to your streaks instead of just trusting you to remember it, which to me was a great quality of life feature that's now expected to be in every COD multiplayer. Scoreboard icons in the bottom right, little smaller, little less obvious, but not to the point where they were hard to see. It was perfect. The HUD was literally just the Modern Warfare 2 HUD, but better in every way. And number 2, Black Ops 3. Out of all the futuristic CODs, best HUD hands down. Bright, all the information, personality. I mean, add in the bit with the specialist weapon icon without being too obstructive. You had that little animation that played when your specialist weapon was fully charged, which was cool. It was exciting. And the metal pop-ups, they were really good. Basically, everything about the Black Ops 3 HUD was great because it basically was just an expansion of the BO2 HUD. But since we're talking about BO2, I just gave away the number 1 pick. Now, number 1, Black Ops 2. Basically just the BO3 HUD, but a little more streamlined and with a little more personality, which means it barely gets the top spot because it was difficult between these two. But Black Ops 2's HUD, it's iconic. The faction icons to the score streak tracker to the scoreboard font, the metal pop-ups, it was perfect. Some of you may argue that BO3 was better since it was basically the same HUD, but with some quality of life changes. I would argue that the slightly simpler version seen in Black Ops 2 was the better one, but like I said a second ago, it's hard to place these two relative to one another. They're both fantastic, and if you ask me, they're the best 2 HUDs in the franchise. I'm just going to give Black Ops 2 the edge. Let me know if I got it right. Let me know if I got it wrong. I'll see you soon.